Hello everyone, welcome to the episode 10 of the Chaos playthrough of the game Tale of Immortal. And this is the year 17, January 1st. I am already at Soul Formation, and for some reason I kept the Immortal number 1 Sword Cultivator title. Usually this will expire once you reach Soul Formation, but sometimes the game has some issues. And currently I am at the main city of the Immortal region, so Shinzo City, because one of our quest requests us to get the Darkwind grass, and therefore we need to go to the auction. So, quick beat, I don't need anything else apart from Darkwind grass. A guide. There's no shield, so there's no use. What about you? No shield, no use. Alright, let's skip. So we come back to the Dwarf Demon, and we have Darkwind grass with us. Then we just give it. She will give you a menu, so you could just save and try to get something that you need, but if your sect leader really don't need this anymore, so it doesn't really matter to me. And after this, don't forget to talk with Agar again, because of course he will continue his move. So just to save time, I do recommend to finish Agar quest as soon as possible. So when you meet Agar, you can already ask him, so by how are you doing? You can look at his status. The better his status is, he walks also faster. So if you're really in a hurry to let him go to break the mountain, you could just babysit him all the time. But usually when he's just walking around in this region, Muxian region, it doesn't really matter much. But once he reached the Wayward Desert, you should probably give him at least 2 times the fruits and the water source. But I think you need, once you take these 2 quests, it will guide you to a place to gather stuff. And I think you need enlightenment in order to defeat those enemies, otherwise it can be difficult. But for now it's fine. And because he will take another stop around here, so what I do recommend to do is you let him be here, and once you reach enlightenment, then you come to here, finish this quest, and then babysit him to let him go to the Wayward Desert. After some time, Agar will come to around the top of the map, and here he will meet this, I don't know, fish person? Anyway, so here you need to talk with him again, and you can now try to talk with her. Grotto Nymph. Okay, so obviously you can try to get rid of the Carpias, and if you do this, every time later on if you go out for a date, and if you try to observe the fish, you might have a chance, which I'm not sure if it's a chance or it will automatically, for sure, there will be a fish coming out to attack you. So obviously I will choose the diplomacy. And then Nymph will say no, this and that. What should you do? Again, you can still try to help, or you can ask for the reason. So now, what you can do is to help her. You need to find a water dragon Kudrum. And Jimon has it. So this task tells you to go to somewhere north. Oh, here. So, but you can already go there now. But what I'm suggesting to do, you first collect 3 jadeware to do. So what is jadeware? Jadeware is one of these kind of interest items. So for example, here, this Glacial Jade is jadeware. And you need 3 of them. Because in order to deal with Jimon diplomatically, you need 3 of the jade. I mean, you can go there now and he will ask you, oh, do you have this jade? But for now, it's just collect this thing, and you can automatically collect this from defeating small enemies. There are the chance to drop, of course, or you can just buy it in one of the towns. Normally one of the towns will sell this interest item. So first collect 3 of this and then continue the quest. But once you continue the quest here, Agar will start moving towards this side. And you sort of want to start babysitting him. And I sort of want to do that after I break through to enlightenment. So I will leave it at here for now. So now we have got 3 jadeware and we can continue the quest. So we come to here, do a geo, and we would see this place. Just come in, you can either search and you will find it. You can actually wait till the person returns, Jimon returns, and then he will arrive. So he's not really hostile, so this is the reason why you want to collect 3 jadeware. You don't need to fight him. And now you can just come back, give it item, and then he will give you the quadrant. After this, you can come back to the region. No. Okay. Let me use this. Come. And use this. And of course you can help her doing this. And once you get that, you will get a special mount as well. But from now you need to start collecting fruits and things for her, for Agar. So you can check this thing. You can see that he's already getting not that great. So stamina and vitality, okay? So what about fruits? So here, and water there. So once you finish those quests, you can come back and just say how are you doing, and you can give the item. I already gave him water so that his stamina already coming through, and now I just give back the fruit, and you can see the vitality will increase as well. And so basically now monthly he will move 5 distance towards this side. You sort of kind of need to start to taking care of him. The problem is those monsters, even though they are mobs, they are quite strong for soul formation. So good thing is I think I am about to break through soon. So I will very soon go to breakthrough and then start taking care of Agar towards this side. Right, I have finished the Firebird quest and I have gifted a Wisp of Soul to Muqing. So now she is level Thorium 4. I just need to farm like 2 or 3 times to bring her to 5 so that I can unlock this one last talent, so that every time I recover energy I get 8 times of HP recovery. Meanwhile, I think this is also a good time to form a pact with Mengyi. So Mengyi would be the only, let's say, the one solution, one answer that which one should you make a pact with. Because the only reason you want to make a pact with your artifact spirit is to use the out. And Mengyi's out is so strong, it's way stronger than anyone else. So, and I already have like 10 hearts with her, so should be fine already. And unless you have some spirit you really like, for some reason. But yeah, once you do this, just remember this is a one lifetime thing as the game tells you. So if you want to cancel the pact, you will suffer a lot. Like 5 years, you are in a bad, you have a bad buff with you, debuff with you, and also you cannot combine the pact with anyone else. And once you have the pact with her, you can also gift her all those orbs that every time you first time finish one tower, you can get these orbs, which makes the spirit a little bit stronger, which is not much, but why not? And great. Let's try to deal with the fish. Actually, you would need one of those things the fish drops in order to make the enlightenment appeal. Now the thing of dealing with fish is it's actually quite dependent on luck. Like if you somehow didn't manage if you somehow unlucky you get frozen, and it's very likely you just keep on getting frozen to death. So let's see how it works. Because otherwise there's really nothing much difficulty in it. You just don't get frozen. But sometimes it just you can't do much, which is annoying. So basically in the end, it's more like you need to have enough speed so that you don't get frozen. Like this, I'm frozen. Good thing is I summoned my imp beforehand, so that there's a chance he will, but good, he's not trying to deal with me, but in my imp part. So yeah, my imp is mostly just a thingy. And this just now every single of my moon shadow sword was blocked by a stupid house in the world. This is so dumb. Sometimes it just feels like I don't know what to say again. Come, you have little. Alright, so yeah, sometimes your imp can be used to attract her frozen, because once she starts freezing you, you will continue freezing to death. But otherwise it's fine. I think this thing is what you need in order to make the enlightenment elixir if you want to make it yourself. For me, I just bought it from my sect. What is this? Moon Shadow Sword? Sword Slash. Not that bad. What about you? Priest Sword? No. Technique. Not super great. The move? Wow, this move is not bad. Have one special line, which is the best one, martial arts one. So maybe not bad. So I don't need to regrind it. Alright, I think now it is time to talk about one of the most convoluted, complicated, and one of the most asked questions part in this game, that is the breakthrough from stone formation to enlightenment. Because in order to break through, you need 3 Dao Souls, and you need 1 enlightenment elixir, and luckily my sect treasure pavilion had one, so I don't need to make one by myself, even though I just defeated the Carpia to get the material, but still. And so yeah, if you do not have this elixir, you can make it by yourself by here. So you need this. You can get those things mostly from your sect pavilion as well, but also you can go to Wayward Desert. And this guy drops from the Carpia. I have it, I just put it into my treat fold. Anyways, so here we go. So this part is complicated, but I want to explain it from backwards. Like, first of all, coming from why do we need Dao Souls, and what kind of Dao Souls do you need, and why do you need those type of Dao Souls, and then coming to how do you get these Dao Souls, which is to farm them from the Dao realms. And then I will explain the difference between different Dao realms and how do you select elements inside when you do a Dao realm run. So basically going backwards in the timeline way, but I think it makes more sense from a logical point of view. So let's first see. In order to break through, I need 3 Dao Souls, right? I have farmed quite a few Dao Souls in my tree vault. And so I think what I'm going to do is first I will take 3 random sword ones and sword waterwind. Okay, so in this case I just took 3 Dao Souls, and if I try to break through, I select auto add, and you can see looks like it can work. And when you look at each Dao Soul, they have 3 things. One is purity, this one is 100%, this guy 100%, this guy 70%. So number one thing, you want to get every Dalso have 100% purity, because purity matters how much stats you get after your breakthrough. So you only get maximum stats when you have all 3 100% purity ones. Alright, and then you have the main stat, which is, in this case, all of them are sword. And you have substats, so basically how many elements does this Dalso have. And you will see that during this book there are so many things related with the number 3. So you need 3 Dalsos, and each Dalso has 3 elements. This one is sword, water, wind. This one is sword, wood, spear. This one is sword, wind, fist. In this case, because all their main stat is sword, so it can be combined, all 3 of them. However, if I, instead of a sword, well, sometimes I think they should automatically cancel these checkpoints, and then I can click breakthrough. It will be much easier, but they don't do that. So it can be a pain. So if I get rid of this one, and I choose something else, so Wind Sword Palm, that's not bad. And I will also choose another one here called Wind Palm Water. Okay, so let's say I want 2 Dalsos with main element as sword, and 1 Dalso with main element as wind. If I auto add here, so the moment you can auto add, it means that these 3 can be combined. So I don't need to click breakthrough and then reload the thing. So you can see that it automatically chooses this one, Wind Sword Palm. And this is because these 2 Dalsos both have sword and wind. And here sword and wind. And here it has wind and sword. So in this case, because my main Dalso have 2 stats, sword and wind, the condition is all the 3 Dalso need to have sword and wind as their substat. And only when fulfill this, it can be combined. And if I choose this one, Wind Palm Water, so in this case, all 3 of them do have wind, but this one does not have sword as one of its stats. Yeah, if I click breakthrough, it says select 3 combinable Dalsos, which means these 3 are not combinable. So in order to let them combinable, depends on what kind of main stats you have. You need to have the main stat in every 3 of the Dalsos. And obviously this means that if you want, let's say, 3 different elements as your final Dal field, and you need to have the 3 elements all inside the 3 Dalsos, and it can be a bit complicated. So I would say the easiest way to add a takeaway point, if you don't want to watch anything, just take away this one. Take 3 Dalsos, make their main elements the same, and make their purity at maximum 100%, and you're good to go. If only you want to min-max, or if you somehow want a Dal field as 3 or 2 different elements, then you need to consider if they can be combined. For example, in this case, they can't be. And that can be a pain. And just to show you an example, if I want to 3 elements, and if I want them to be combinable, how it will look like. Let's get rid of all of them here. And sword, fire, lightning. Fire, lightning, sword. And I need a lightning, sword, fire. So only in this case, because all 3 of them have the 3 elements inside of it, even though their main stats are different. And if I break through with these 3, duck, then I would get a final Dal field as sword, fire, lightning. And only in this case they can be combinable. If this one is lightning, sword, water, they cannot be combinable again. So it becomes more strict in this case. Alright, so now this is basically the main thing you take away. And as I said, the easiest thing, you just got 3 main stats the same. But what's the difference if I take 3 like main sword one? And what are the use of the substat apart from to determine if they are combinable or not? Because after all, if I choose all 3 of them have the same main stats, then they are always combinable, right? So why do I need, for example, I take 1 sword, fire, lightning, sword, wood, spear, sword, spear, wood, sword, spear, wood. Sorry. sword, wood, spear again. So what's the difference if I choose 3 of them, the same substats? Or like this, sword, fire, lightning. So what's the difference if I choose this one or this one, even though they are all combinable? The thing is, the substats also matters a little bit, some, let's say, sub effects of your Dao field once you break through. And in general, if you really want to min-max, like, you might want some special effect. For example, wood and spear will make your duration of your Dao field longer, and water and palm will make the preparation time of your Dao field shorter, and sword and lightning would make your Dao point a bit more. But really, these are, I would say they are more like min-max point of view that you don't really need to care. That's what I'm saying. You just need to have 3 main sword stats. That's good enough. And if you want a bit more than that, I would always recommend spear and wood as your substats. Because in general, 3 sword effect is let your enemy to get a debuff so that you do more damage to them. And the longer the duration is, the more the late stacks of debuff they can get. I mean, there is a maximum point, and if you have min-maxed your build, you probably will reach the maximum in a few seconds, but still. Anyways, so takeaway, 3 Dao Souls, main stats the same, purity 100%. Substats, choose maybe spear, sword, spear and wood if you want. And of course, depending on what kind of stats it is, then final Dao field will have different effects, and I will put that at the end. And in general, I would say easy thing, take 3 sword or 3 fist. 3 sword is the best Dao field you can get for damage point of view, and 3 fist is the best Dao field you can get from a survivability point of view. And what makes the whole thing even more complicated is that, like, the effect of 2 sword or 3 sword and the effect of 1 sword, the field is different. And therefore, at the later second part of this video, I will show you a lot of different combinations. And there are 12 elements, and each of them have 2 different type of effects, depending on they are 1 or 2 or 3. So there will be 24 different effects. So that makes the whole thing so complicated. But remember the takeaway, 100% purity, main stats and substats. Now the question is, how do you get those ones? To more like, how do you even get those Dao Souls? And to get those Dao Souls, look at the map. You can see there are 6 different Dao realms in the whole Muxian region. So in my case, I have Lightning Fire 1, Palm Blade 1, Spear Earth 1, Sword Wind 1, and here Finger Fist 1. So number 1 thing to remember is, it doesn't matter all this Dao realm is. You can get any type of elements, main stats or substats in any of those realms, Dao realms. It's not like if I want sword main, so I need to go to Sword Wind 1. No, nothing like that. I can easily get the same Dao Soul from Lightning Fire 1. To get a sword, wood, spear Dao Soul from Lightning Fire. It doesn't matter at all. So I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions new players have. And to be honest, you don't really care about anything. And the second thing is, so what's the difference between those Dao realms? So one thing is, if you look at on the map, you can see those Dao realms have different colors. For example, this guy is a Lightning Fire. It has blue and red. And this one is Palm and Blade, I think. They have green and red. So the main difference here is you will get different Dao gems from those different ones to the color. So here, these are the ruby, emerald, obsidian, amber, pearl, and amethyst. It's a Dao gem that you can get from those Dao realms. And depending on what color they have, you can get different ones. For example, the Lightning Fire one, you can see is green and red. That means you will get either the ruby or the emerald. And in this case, this one is blue and red, which means you will get, again, ruby because it's red, and you will get, if I'm not wrong, sorry, obsidian. Blue and red, blue. Obsidian, no. Lightning, yeah, sorry, amethyst from it. So, and then the question is, why do you need those Dao gems? Because in order to get the final idea Dao Soul you want, you need to refresh a lot. And I would suggest you to get 3,000 at least of each 6 different Dao gems before you start actually a proper like 5-room Dao realm run. But before that, you could always go to one of the Dao realms. For example, I can come to here, right? So I can come into this Dao realm, and it doesn't even take any. I will just do one simple 1-room run first. It doesn't even take any time. And the first 2 rooms are always very easy, just a bunch of mobs and so-called elite monsters. You should be able to finish them really fast. And once you finish this room, or you can finish 2 rooms, you don't need to, once you enter this, you will get into the next room. But if you come out now, you can see that I get some Dao Rubies and Dao Amethyst from this run. Now, if I exit now, I did one partial Dao Field run just to farm those gems. That's what I'm saying. You can start doing this very early, like when you reach soul formation late and without any updating any of your mind skills. You can already start doing this run to gather some Dao gems. You would try to go to different Dao realm to gather all 6 type of Dao gems. Gather 3,000, then you can start doing the proper one. And now another difference between the different Dao realms is actually what kind of enemies you face. So to show that, I realized that it's easiest way to show you the imps, because I have gathered all the possible imps from those Dao realms. So basically, in the 3rd room, you would face 1 monster, and in the 6th room, you will face another one. And depending on what kind of element the Dao realm you are farming, the enemy you face will be different. So I'm right now talking this out of my memory, so it might not be correct, but I will try to put the correct information maybe at the end of the video or maybe in the descriptions. So, not you, because this guy is the Carpia. Ninetales and Drought Demon, Kui, Chongji, and Hellspawn. So these 5 are the 5 monsters at the end, the 5th room. Some of them are difficult. I would say these 3 are the more difficult ones. They can easily kill you. Ninetales is the easiest one. Drought Demon is a bit in the between. For some people it may be difficult, but in general I found it quite easy as well. Oh right, there's another one, Jimeng as well, since there are 6 elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jimeng is one which is easy if you know the mechanism, but difficult because there is a thing here. She has this skill to reflect damage. So if you do not know he has this skill, you will kill yourself. And depending on different elements. And in the 3rd room, you also have another mythical monster, but this will be very easy. I think you can easily defeat them without any upgraded mind skill as well. There is Corpse Lord, Agar, Sphinx, Dunkang, Fire Worming, and 6 Tails. So now, depending on different elements, now I can say. So Ninetales is each one. You should choose wood or palm. So wood or palm will give you Ninetales, and wood or palm, I believe it will be Corpse Lord as well. So wood or palm. Now, Drought Demon is definitely from fire and the spear, and the middle one from fire and spear should be 6 Tails. So in the Dao realm with fire or spear, you would see 6 Tails in the middle, Drought Demon in the end. And Kui should come in from lightning, because after all he's lightning, and feast. So, and the middle one should be Sphinx. And then Chongji is definitely from earth and finger, and the middle one would be Agar. And finally, Hellspawn is from sword and wind, and the middle one should be Dunkang. And really finally, this one Jimon is from water and the blade, and then the middle one should be fail worming. So that means if I come into this lightning and fire one, so there's 50% of possibility that in the middle I will either meet with Sixtail or Sphinx, and in the end I will either meet George Demon or Kui. And as I said, since the last one should be the easiest one, Ninetail, so if you want to do a simple one, you should always go to a wood or palm one. So in that case, I will either go to this guy, so palm blade one, or I will go to this one, water wood one, so here. And so the enemy I will face either Sixtails and Corpse Lord, or it would be Jimon and fail worming. So in that case, I would rather choose these two. Okay. Now finished this, and being a coward as I am, I'm going to this one instead to do a simple Dalrium run and show you what you need to care about. So once I enter the Dalrium again, I want to get this thing done. Alright, starting with the first two rooms. They are in general quite simple, and if you are properly optimized and instead of sword maybe a better one, you should be doing it even faster. So okay, now coming to here, remember in the end we want a Dalso coming from this Dalfield around 100% purity and 3 elements. So you can see the success rate here. In the first room I will only get 2 elements and get some effects here. Remember, any of these effects you're showing here have nothing to do with the Dao field in the end you get. You won't get anything like every time a unit dies you restore 20% vitality. No, this is only for this Dao realm run. So in these 5 rooms you would have this effect. And it's not only you, it's every single unit, including the enemy, will have the same effect. So choose it as you wish. But in the end, what you wanted is really, you only have 3 different elements. And this will be the 3 elements your final Dalso have. And you want your main element about 40. That's it. Because only with 3 elements and about 40 purity for your main element, you would get 100% purity Dalso. And in my case, I want a sword one with wood and spear as my substats. So this one I can take it. I might get rid of this one. I want to change this one when I'm dealing with big monsters, because if they just randomly restore 20% of their HP and I kill any small units, that will take the fight much longer. And also some of these things you want to avoid. For example here, Earth. This one is definitely you want to avoid it. Every time you attack units, they have 30% chance to deal 400 true damage to myself. No, this is just suicide one. This one is not great, and I really don't like it. So you can, and every time you refresh it, initially it has 3. So you need 3, and now Dalgium needed will increase after 3 refreshes. For example, I do not like this one as well. It will cost me 5 of them, and not this one, definitely. Cost me, now it increased to 10. And many times you have to reroll a lot of time in order to get the thing you want, the element you want. And that's why I suggest you to have a lot of those Dalgem before actually starting a proper run. That is the reason, and it is very grinding and annoying. Many times you just keep on doing, you won't get the thing you need. This one is also basically a suicide move, but I will take it for now. I will remove it in the next run. Because even with those elite monsters, when they start doing critical damage to you, it's very deadly. You do not want that at all. Alright. So in this case, as you can see, I have 4 different elements. And basically, if I continue the 4 elements and in the end still like this, I combine it, it will be a palm, wood, spear, and also with very low purity because the number here is not too high, not higher than 40, and also because I have 4 elements. With 4 elements, the maximum purity you get is 90%. So you want to get rid of this, this, and I realize this will take a lot of time, because I don't want one thing as well. Oh, finally a sword one come. That's great. And maybe you, not you. Restore 50. That's fine, but what about you? Anyways, this will take quite some time to refresh, but maybe this is the time when you can see why this is an annoying thing as well, because it just costs a lot of runs, and the chance of this appears depending on your stats, and if you're like me, have all 12 element stats increased a lot, then you have equally chance of all 12 elements to appear, and it can be a very painful process. Okay, this is basically the thing I generally want, a higher sword, wood and the spear as substats. So let's go to the next one. So I got Corpse Lord here. Should be fairly easy. Yeah. Now the question is, can I get more sword? Because I want the stat to be higher than 40 to make my purity higher. Alright, again, finally I managed to get something okay. Now let's come to the next room. In this room you would always find the cultivator. And in general they are not really big problems if you are properly optimized, like in this case. Oh, come on, don't waste time. And I want to wait till the ultimate is finished to enter the next room. And this is, as you know, it's because it's a pain to deal with the last one. And to be honest, if I meet Jimon, I might actually die, then I will just reload the save. And if it's Ninetales, will be much easier. But I realize that it will again come with the pointless refreshing process. And you can see that every time you enter the next room, it becomes free again. So if you start costing too much, you might consider try your different luck, because you can still refresh your previous one. So again, I will stop recording and I will only come back once I finish this process. Alright, so this is basically my final selection. I have sword here, wood and spear in the substats. Now, I do have this one. All units have land crit in the first 3 attacks, and it can be very dangerous. I'm betting on that is Ninetales, who is quite easy, and hopefully that will be the case. So you can just press ESC and click on this button in order to quit this page. Let's see if it is Ninetales. Oh, great. So if she does some kind of critical damage, if not, just that is good and almost not too great. Ninetales, always easy. And in the end, you get one final chance to refresh again, but I'm happy with this. And you can see the success rate is 100%. And if you put your mouse here, it does explain all these things. The point is, you want your only 3 elements, and you want the 3 elements to be the 3 elements you want it to have. In my case, sword, spear, and wood. You want the highest element have at least 40. And in this case, if I click combine, it will be successful, otherwise it might fail. And once I look at my Dao, it's here. 100% purity. Sword, spear, wood. That's exactly what I wanted. So I hope this gives you an idea how do you do the Dao Soul run. And you have to do this 2 times more to get 3 same Dao Souls. But one good thing about it is you see that I get a lot of manuals from it. And they are all enlightenment. So basically you can get your favorite elements manual as enlightenment all the time. And not only that, sometimes you can have the ones with motion skill, which are much more difficult to get if you do not have a good sect. And of course, you got those skill fruits, which is great. And also, any monster you get, including the middle one and the later one from this, so if you have a gourd from this thing, will be level 8. So they are enlightenment realm, so some of them can have quite good stats to help you later. So yeah, once you are confident, you can already finish the 3-room run to deal with these monsters like Corpse Lord, Static Guard, Sphinx, Dunkang, Fellvermin, Six Tails. They are quite easy. Then you can just run 3 runs, use your gourd, absorb them to help you. And yeah, the final one, as I said, Kui, Chongqi, Scalespawn, they are difficult. I would say Jimong and Jewel Demon are a bit easier, and Nine Tails is always the easiest one. So I hope this will help you to start your grinding about Dao and Dao Fields. Alright, now I already have 3 Dao Souls, and I think I will just break through at this point. And you can see that I've used another item to change my sect destiny to Concealed Nirvana. So this is actually very good, probably the best defense destiny here, because you can see that what is happening is when every time you take damage from a single attack is over 50% of your maximum HP, the damage is fixed at maximum HP, 50%. And then all the enemies will frozen for 5 seconds. It says trigger max 1 time every 50 seconds, but it is true, but this here is the frozen effect. It triggers only once every 50 seconds. But the effect that your damage taken is fixed at 15% of your maximum HP, that is all the time, and there's no cooldown internal, which means that this makes you much tankier. As long as you are still life stealing, you attack, you can never die. Of course, you can skill die if you immediately receive like 10 consecutive damage, which happens, for example, a tornado from Dunkang, and then immediately you die. But apart from those cases, this makes you much safer. And to be honest, I could get in this thing from one of the other sects, but I'm too lazy to do that, and I can anyways use this item. The reason to do it, I'm going to take this instead of, for example, the martial skill specification 3. It's mainly because martial skill specification at this point for me is not that important anymore. And once I am at enlightenment, and when I'm going breakthrough to reborn, the reborn part I will have to face quite some difficult enemies, and I would like to have Concealed Nirvana with me rather than martial skill specification 3. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, 3 Dao Souls, 100% purity, sword main, and I have sub-stat that's spear and wood, wood and spear, doesn't matter. And I'm sure 60%, which means I will fail, but if that's the case, I will just stop recording and then just only show you when I'm breaking through. Let's see. Oh yes, of course. The lightning trail. And it's finished. Let's back to breakthrough. 60% basically equal to 0 with my luck. And yeah, I does get bare hand is actually quite good. It allows me to use the feast. But for now, as I mentioned before, I will use Concealed Nirvana. Yeah. There's always a chance to get that later. And as I said, once I get a reborn board, my attack speed is even faster. I might even consider to remove the 2 martial skill specifications for something else. Let's see. So yeah, I am now at Enlightenment. So after that, look at my giant, it's already there. I might just go to protect the giant until he finishes, but that will be in next episode. And for this episode, I will at the end use my alt account to show you the effect of different rule field, because there are so many different options. And also because many of them myself have never used, so I want to test them out and let you see what are the effects. So I will see you later. Alright, change of plans. So I just use my alt account to make a showcase of different rule fields with different elements combination, but it turns out the video will become way too long. It will be more than like 1 hour and 20 minutes. So instead, I will separate that part, showcase part, into a different video. And in the end of this video, I will just briefly introduce what is rule field. So you can see that once I break through to Enlightenment, I have this thing on my page, and if I put my mouse here, you can see there are something here. Rule field, 3 sword, and there are some effect. Alright, and now you have charge time 30 seconds, duration 40 seconds, cost 100 Dao power, and cooldown 200 seconds. Basically, the moment you enter the battle, the rule fields automatically start to charge. It takes 30 seconds to charge it, and then you can press Q to turn it on into a duration 40 seconds. It costs 100 Dao power, and at 200 seconds to cool down, so once it's finished, you have to wait for 200 seconds to use it again. And so, what is Dao power? If you look at here, once you break through, you have seen the Dao power, and I have 330. This means that I can use 3 times rule field, either in one entire battle or in 3 different battles. And after that, there's no way for me to recover Dao power, apart from slowly recovers automatically by a small amount every month. And this is exactly the reason why I was mentioning in this video that this entire complicated, convoluted process of getting the correct Dao soul and Dao field, it becomes meaningless. Because you can only use it 3 times at most. Most of the time, actually, you can only use it 2 times. Because otherwise, you have to wait, I don't know, few months to use it again. And who has that much time in the game? And actually, the way to fix it is actually very simple. They just need to add either or both 2 settings. One, when you rest either in the hospital of your sect or in your, in the city, then it basically make your Dao power back to maximum, just like everything else. But simply because Dao power, the whole thing was added after the first patch, so this entire thing from Enlightenment and Soul Formation was after the first patch. The first patch was only till nothing, so they didn't add this setting into it, which is a very stupid move. Or another thing you can do, you can, I don't know, have some pills, make some special alchemy with some pills which can recover your Dao power. That actually will make alchemy a bit more useful as well. And I'm not even mentioning the fact that, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was trying to say, but yeah, basically that is the main problem. Okay, so there's something, so all these numbers like Dao power and charging time, duration time, cost, cooldown will be slightly different, and those depending on the substats of the 3 Dao souls that you have combined. So I can tell you my duration is 40 seconds. This is because I have used wood and spear as my 2 substats. Each of them will increase the duration, and my Dao power is 330 instead of 270. It's because I'm using sword as another of my substats. So that will increase the Dao power. And you can find, I have just made some posts, and I will put a link somewhere in the descriptions. You can find out a table of different effect of substats of Dao souls, different Dao realms, and of course the main stats of the Dao field. Obviously, I will make showcase video independently, but you can already take a look at those. This will be put in the link and in the descriptions. And I think that will be the true end of this video. So thank you for watching, and if you find this content helpful, please consider leave a like or subscribe, or subscribe. So thank you, and see you next time.